Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Dan. Dan is from Florida in the USA. So let's see what Dan has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, hello, Dim. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
So, tell me, how is your day going so far?
The day's going good. It's just a normal day. It's really nice over here. We're getting some cold weather coming in, and the trees are all starting to change colors. It's my first fall, so I've never seen it. So it's a new experience for me.
Amazing. And tell me, where are you from?
I am from South Florida, from Milton Manors, the gayest city in the world. They say it's one of the
Ah,
best places.
what's the name of the city again?
Milton Manors, Florida,
Okay. Wow. And that's
and
the
that's in
place.
Broward County.
Okay. And that's the place where you're born and raised?
Well, I was raised in Port St. Lucie, which is like an hour and a half north of there. But Florida is really a unique place because you could be one place and it's just cows and very country, and then you go down to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and it's a whole nother world. So, yeah, I was in Fort Lauderdale for about 10 years, and most of my life I grew up in that little small town.
How far are you from Port Canaveral?
Port Canaveral. Well, right now I'm probably about 1,000 miles from it because I don't live in Florida anymore. But when I was in Florida, probably about an hour and a half away.
I see. I used to work for Disney Cruise Line, so I was based in Port Canaveral.
Okay, yeah, I love Disney. Disney's one of my favorite things to do. I miss it. I every time I'm in Florida, I always try to get to Disney because, like, as an adult, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like Disney. It's for little kids. And the first time I went there, it was like, it was the best thing in the world. It's very magical.
So where are you living right now?
Right now, I'm living in the Chicago area of Illinois. Um, I've been here for about a year, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to land my feet next because I definitely enjoy traveling. I enjoy meeting new people. So I think I'm going to, for the next few years of my life, just kind of get to know me a little bit more and just get to know other people and have new experiences.
I see. And what do you do for work, for living, Dean?
So right now for work, it's the first time in my life I don't go clock in somewhere. I've always been a very regimented person, and this year I've been healing from some abuse that I went through. So I started an online recovery community for abuse victims of narcissistic abuse. So I manage a blog and that community. I also am a poet and an author. I released 4 books this year and 18 poems, and I'm a really big advocate for people healing loudly and supporting victims and believing them because victims of narcissistic abuse often don't have any validation. People don't believe them, and it's very misunderstood.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about this community that you've been supporting so far.
Well, the community is supporting me, and that's one of the things that I always say. You know, I'm so lucky to have been able to have this because when I came out of my abusive relationship, I had no one understood me. And I got on TikTok and I saw a video of someone talking and I was like, hey, this sounds like what I'm going through. And it had a name. And I started to realize that there was a whole community of people that went through the same thing and understood it. So all I do, and I always say what I do is not special. I just talk about what happened to me, but it's powerful because I remember that person that I was watching. It's like that person gave me the first puzzle piece in my healing. So I don't think I do anything special, but I just try to share my story in hopes that it resonates with someone and helps them on their path to healing.
Amazing. I think it's so powerful and healing, as you said, talking about, because again, you are healing yourself at the same time as well. You might be helping people out there because
Mhm.
when you talk so free and so open, people they appreciate that because they might be, maybe facing the same situation, or maybe they faced in the past and they didn't know that other people as well are going through the same situation. So it's always healing. It's always nice talking about because we help other people out there as well. So yeah.
Exactly.
So through the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your life and also about
Mhm.
your joys. Okay.
Okay.
Dean, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
I am.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Okay, full of fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
I love music.
let's do it. Okay, Dean, before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, some reason you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, what is the best first date have you ever been on?
The best first date. I don't think I've ever been on a date, like an actual date. But when I've been with my partners, we've gone on dates afterwards. But I've never been on a date. So if there's anybody out there that would like to take me on a proper date, I am ready and I would love that.
Wow, wow. As you already threw the message out there, to the world right now watching this interview, one person to go on a date with you, to connect with you, what this person must have?
Oh, well, first and foremost, they have to know who they are. I think somebody that knows who they are is probably the most attractive quality that somebody could have. They need to be personally accountable for their actions, and their actions have to match their words. I always kind of joke now after going through the stuff that I went through. Going out on a date with me is not going to be, hey, what's your favorite color? But it's like I want to know more, deeper things. I want to know, can you connect with someone? What does intimacy look like to you? And questions that people aren't really used to hearing on a first date. I may ask you, hey, what's your relationship with your mother? It's like, because I want to know. I want somebody that has their self together, that they know who they are and they're comfortable and confident with who they are.
See, very good. The message is out there right now. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what the universe is going to bring to you. Next question. Hey, team, next question for you is, good question. If you're not yourself, would you like to be yourself and why?
If I wasn't myself, I don't think I want to be anybody else, because my entire life I struggled to learn to love myself. And this last year's journey, I love being alone because I'm not alone. I have myself. And for the first time in my life, I'm enough. So I don't know if I want to be anybody else because I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. But if I could for a day be anybody, I would probably be Jason Momoa, or I would do like I can't think of his name, Hemsworth, that played Thor in the Avengers.
Wow, wow, what a good choice.
And
And
that's just for my own reasons.
saying that, Dim, when you analyze yourself, when you think about yourself, what's the best part of being you? What do you like the most about to be yourself?
What I like the most about myself
Being yourself, yeah.
is that I didn't give up on myself and that I'm understanding of myself. I think one of the most important things that people can do, especially in their adulthood, if they're trying to resolve some kind of childhood traumas or just other past things, is we always focus on forgiving other people, but we need to forgive ourselves. And all that hurt and animosity that we have towards ourselves is really what's holding us back, because when you come to peace with yourself and you learn to love yourself and forgive yourself, all that negative self-talk kind of goes out the door. So, but if I had to say the one thing I love about myself the most is I call it my magic, my inner child, that belief that I had like as a kid that there's good in this world. And like Christmas morning in Disney, and like the first time you get a puppy and you hold it, like that magic I always try to keep alive in me.
Wow. All your family, they're back in Florida?
Well, actually, my family is pretty spread out. I have my ex-wife back in Florida, and she's still my best friend, and I have all my friends down there. But as far as family, I'm up here with my mother, and she is my rock. I would not have been able to get through what I got through without her. And the rest of my family, I will say I love from a distance, because I spent 40 years of my life allowing them to treat me the way that they wanted to. And now I choose to spend the next however many years I have on this earth choosing to love myself and just loving them from a distance. But I do care for them and I do love them very much.
Amazing. Very good. Next question, Dean. Let's do. So before the next question, tell me a little bit more about your career as an author and also as a poet.
Well, I never wrote before. I never was a writer. I never was really a poet. I was always an abstract artist. I always worked in restaurants. And when I came up here to get away from my abuser, I lost everything that I had, including my art studio. So I couldn't paint anymore. And I was going through so much trauma, I couldn't stand noise or any kind of stimuli. And I found that writing was the only thing in my life that was quiet that I actually had control over. And I started writing just for myself. And I was like, I'm going to release this on TikTok, not for anybody to see it, but I just wanted to let it go. And it just, I never thought it would do what it would do, what happened, but it just, in the last 9 months, 4 books and all these poems, and so many people had messaged me saying that they resonated with them and it helped them. And it really is the best gift the universe gave me. Sorry, I got a truck backing up over here.
It's okay.
I don't know if you can hear it.
I cannot hear
But,
though.
yeah, so being able to write poems and knowing that it connects with other people really is probably one of the greatest things about this whole situation, because I've always been someone who wants to help people. I've always been someone who wants to see people do better. And so, like, in my job, I would always do that in a manager role. But now it's like, I don't even know if it helps, who it helps, but when I get a letter from someone and says, hey, I was feeling suicidal and I read your poem, and, I decided to leave my partner who was abusing me for so many years, it's like, it helps me be really thankful for what I went through, because there's reason for it. And because there's pain in that purpose, it's like, I found peace in what happened to me.
Wow. Do you write every day?
Well, I actually don't write. And this is one thing that I try to explain to folks. I never actually write because I can't have a pen in my hand and get everything out quick enough. So what I do is I turn my talk to speech on my phone and I just talk into my phone and I let it type it out. And then, I go back and kind of edit it. So that way I don't lose whatever thought that I have.
Interesting. Amazing. Next question is, what things do you consider to be relationship deal breakers?
Relationship deal breakers. On the first date, and I'm looking for this, if I hear all my exes are crazy, I'm going to grab my steak and I'm going to run out the door, because that to me is one of the biggest red flags. And my first book that I wrote is called Navigating Love, A Guide to Recognizing Red Flags in Relationships. And things that I'm looking for, people that take accountability for their actions. If I hear somebody's always blaming everybody else, it's a huge red flag for me. If I hear all my crazy exes, it's a huge red flag for me. Even with my ex through this whole situation, I never had said anything about him personally. I always stuck to the behavior and the abuse, and it's a huge red flag. So if their actions don't match their words, I'm out the door, and I just move along, because I don't want that kind of energy in my life. So yeah, those are some deal breakers. If they talk bad about, down to the waiter, it's definitely another thing that I can't stand. It's like, you got to treat everybody with respect. So I'm looking for things right off the bat.
Yeah, I think I strongly believe as well. I think respect, it's one of the basic things that I think all of us should always remember and always practice, because, it's as you said, the red flag when you see those little behaviors that sometimes it can annoy us, we be annoyed about it, to feel frustrated, to feel sad. And sometimes, you just need to maybe to talk about or explain, because sometimes we do things without even noticing, without even. But if it keeps happening, if something is not for yourself, I think the best way is to talk about and see and find the best direction regarding that. That's how I see it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Actually, on that last one other thing that I'm looking for is love bombing. If I'm on a date and someone is giving me all this attention and telling me, I've been waiting for you my whole life, you're going to freak me out because that's not how life works. And if you agree with everything that I'm saying, it's like almost like you're copycatting me. I want someone to be real. If I say my favorite artist is Mariah Carey and you can't stand her, I want to know that. So that way, if we do get in a relationship, I don't buy you a ticket to the Christmas concert and I go by myself, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a good debate is also healthy as well.
Mhm.
That's how I see. Ready for another one?
Yep.
Let's do it. Next question. Okay, the next question is, tough question for you now.
Okay.
If your plane was going down, yeah, and you could call just one person to say goodbye, who that would be and why?
If I could call one person to say goodbye, I want to call anybody because everybody in my life that is close to me, I make sure to let them know how important they are. And I would just take those moments for myself, you know, and I would just be grateful for the time that I had on this earth and, you know, and I would probably just think of my favorite song in my head and, you know, I wouldn't call anybody because
Love your
I probably wouldn't even be able to use my phone because I would be that nervous. But yeah, no, I wouldn't call anybody.
dying for you is something that bothers you, or for you, it's just like a matter of life that's going to happen to everyone.
Well, death hit me early on in life and it was really rough and I lost some really close people to me and it taught me that time is precious.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest currency that we have as humans is our time. And where we invest it, how we invest it is really important. Um, I don't like to go to bed mad at anybody. So I'm going to let you know right then and there. I want to address it. I don't want you to go bed mad. I don't like to have that, you know. So yeah, no, death is definitely something that it's not just a part of life. It's the hardest part of life because, you know, it's tough. But I try to keep the thought process of those people left something with me, and I keep them alive in me, and I keep that in that place with that magic of, you know, I was talking about earlier, you know, with, you know, that I try to keep alive in me.
Amazing. Next question, Dean. Let's do it. Before the next question, as you talk so open about, you know, in the past you had an abuse relationship, you know, when you look back, what's the positive outcome that for you that you've learned through that challenging journey?
Well, I tell every abuse victim, not just of narcissistic abuse, but specifically of that abuse, narcissistic abuse is meant to destroy you, and you have to let it, because the thing is every victim that gets out of the situation, we always ask ourselves the same, why did we stay so long? We saw what was going on. And those are the questions that we have to answer for ourselves, because the universe is always going to put you back in another situation that's kind of like that one before. So you have to learn the lessons, or it's going to give you the lesson again. And what abusers do to us is horrible. No one deserves it. But healing journey isn't about the abuse. It's about yourself. And one of the things that I found is that I was a people pleaser. I was somebody that put other people before myself. I was somebody that, you know, had low boundaries and made excuses for everybody because, you know, I wanted people to like me. And those were the parts of myself that I left at rock bottom. I didn't bring those parts with me because the first 20 years of my life, I didn't have control over the abuse that I was going through. I was a kid. But the last 20 years, I'm responsible for the hurt that I went through because I didn't walk away from people that I should have. I didn't put myself first. I didn't love myself. And I had in my last relationship 9 suicide attempts. And it took 9 times for me to get the message that the universe is like, this is not the person for you. You can't save him. If you keep trying to save him, you're going to be dead. So instead, I saved myself.
I see. All right. Thanks for
And
sharing. Right. Next question for you is, if you could have a cup of tea or a coffee with a fictional character, who that would be and why?
with the fictional character,
Yeah.
who would it be? Oh, that's such a good one. You know, I would probably do Ursula from The Little Mermaid
Hmm.
and get her side of the story. But because I love Disney, I love The Little Mermaid, and I love Ursula. But I don't know, like an actual like fictional character is really hard because it's like I don't know because you already know everything about him from the movie by the time it's done. Hmm.
It's an answer. I think the Little Mermaid is it's an answer already.
Okay, we'll go with that one.
I'll take this one. Right, I have 3 questions left. Okay, let's do it.
Mhm.
Right, before the next question, tell me, so far, what's the best part of living in near Chicago, Illinois?
Well, my outlook on it has gotten better since I've been going through the abuse and stuff. But the best part that I've had, I haven't really met a lot of people here. I've really isolated a lot. But I think that the best part of it for me was just getting to know myself and walking through some of the parks here is really beautiful. And I've never seen springtime because in Florida everything's always summer, and just experiencing the seasons. And I think there was something metaphorically about it that I needed to see and understand. So yeah, no, I appreciate the new experiences.
Amazing. Next question is, what does success mean to you?
When I was younger, I was all about trying to achieve things and having success, and I thought that made me who I was. And now I don't really think about success the same way that I do. I think that sometimes success is getting out of bed when you absolutely can't. And it's the bravest thing that you can do. And you keep doing it every day. I think success is when you just can't keep on going and you just somehow you do. And finding little moments of happiness where you can. So for me, success is just different. I don't think of it as, I released all these books. Is success selling 1 million copies? No, success was just writing it. Even if no one ever read it, that's what it was. So I don't know. But I guess if I had to look at it, what do I want and be successful in? I still have that dream of having, a family and a husband and all that kind of stuff. But if it doesn't happen, I'm okay with it because I have myself and I'm enough. So
Wow, amazing. Yeah, I think success is very personal. I think, as you said, sometimes success could be just waking up earlier than usual or doing something out of your comfort zone or achieving something big or achieving something maybe small that for you means a lot. So it's very personal. That's how I see as well. 2 questions left. Let's do
okay.
it. Before the next one, tell me a moment since you start, your journey as a writer and write poems as well. Tell me a moment so far that you're never going to forget, that's always going to have a special place in your heart.
So I was at work and I was in the kitchen and I had something like pop up in my mind. And it was just like at the beginning of a poem. And it was, when my time on earth is done, do not cry for me. You'll find me underneath the canopy of a beautiful oak tree. And I stopped and I went into the bathroom and I cried for about like an hour. And then I just told my boss, I said, I got to leave. And I had to finish writing this poem. And it's my favorite poem that I ever written. And it actually was a eulogy for my ex-partner because I had to come to terms with the fact that the person that I loved more than anything didn't exist. That person wasn't real. And to be able to see him for who he really is and the abuser that he is, I had to separate those people. And that's the hardest thing about narcissistic abuse. It's one of the reasons so many victims end up taking their lives, because that realization of that person that they loved not being real is such a heartbreak because it's different from regular abuse. You're actually mourning the loss of your partner like a death. And but it's a beautiful poem. And it's the only part of my relationship that I kept as real and will allow to be real. And it was a day that I took him out on Mother's Day to the park. And there was ducks and all, I wanted to take him out to go feed the ducks and see nature. And it was a beautiful day. And there's this moment underneath this beautiful oak tree where there was baby ducks around him. And he pulled a flower from the sand and he smelled it. and I snapped a picture. And it's the only picture that I kept. It's the only thing that I kept from the relationship. So yeah, that moment was the only moment that I kept in the relationship is real, because that's what I had to do to not let that abuse destroy that magic in me. So I took that moment and I kept it inside my heart with the memory of my puppies, where that magic lives. And he'll always be safe there, away from my hurt and my anger. And that part of him, I'll keep alive. But yeah, no, that poem is a beautiful poem. And I don't speak to my abuser. I never will. But if he ever were to read that poem, it's what I hope my life is going to be when it's my time is up. And I want to be back in that moment where he's picking that flower from the sand and he's smelling it, because I really love that person. And I really do believe that maybe somewhere inside there, that person still can live. So I hope that whatever goes on in life, he can find some healing, because I just want him to see, I wish he could see himself through my eyes, because everything would be so much better for him if he could.
I see. Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Next question for you is, who makes you laugh the most?
Me. and I say this with all like honesty. I talk to myself all the time. I have eternal dialogue with myself. And I always tell people, if you want to know what's going through my mind, if you ever watch Family Guy and see the cut scenes, that's my mind's always doing that. Or it's like little bits and pieces of movies and stuff. So if I'm observing someone's behavior and everything, all of a sudden I'll have like this thought from this movie and stuff, and I'll kind of laugh. And it's like, you know, and people are like, why are you laughing? It's like, you don't want to know, trust me. But yeah, no, I find myself quite humorous, and I keep myself entertained. So, but if I had to say like any other like celebrity or something, I loved Robin Williams. I think Robin Williams was one of the most brilliant people, and he was so sad. It's one of the things, the people that bring us so much joy, that kind of humor doesn't come from a good place. It comes from a dark place, and that's the way they get through life. So if you guys have someone in your life that's always funny in the life of the party, it's probably something a lot different in their downtime. You know, that's how they cope with life. And humor is, music and humor are the two things that got me through everything. Like, I couldn't get through life without music, and you got to have a sense of humor, because if not, everything's just bad. You know, you have a bad situation. So try to make a joke out of it, and, you know, try to move forward.
I think when you do that, the pain, it's a bit less. Somehow you face the pain a bit in a nicer way, let's say it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for the last one?
Yep.
Okay, Dim, last question. Let's do it.
Okay.
But before the last question, no, people watch the interview right now. Maybe, as I mentioned before, they could be facing, you know, something abuse relationship, or something that they don't find a way out. What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
Stay strong. You got this. You're stronger than you know. And I would say that at the end of almost all my videos on TikTok. So the abuse that people are going through, you don't deserve. No one deserves it. More than likely, it's not about you. The person that's doing this to you, it's not because you're lacking something. It's not because you're not good enough. It's because they're lacking something. They're projecting their hurt onto you. Whatever you're going through, that it will get better. And I promise you, just hang in there and don't give up, because I didn't think I was going to make it. And somehow I did. And I'm so glad that I hung in there. And it doesn't matter how many years of abuse, neglect, trauma, drug addiction, mental health issues you have, your story isn't over. This is just a chapter. So don't give up, because you still have a lot to give this world.
Amazing. Last question is, which season of the year you feel more connected with, and why?
I would say spring. And the reason for that is this last winter was the darkest time of my life. And I remember how gloomy it was. And I was like, I hate being up here. Look at it. Everything's dead. But when springtime started popping up, things started to get a little better for me too. And like going through those seasons of change, it really was like I'm exactly where I was supposed to be, because like there's something about the metaphors of the seasons and what I went through. But I love springtime because it's always a reminder that no matter how bleak things may be, that hope is just right around the corner.
Amazing. Okay, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with money.
Paper.
Family?
It's just paper. You said family?
Yeah.
Mom.
Life.
Lies?
Life.
Oh, life? Grateful.
Love.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Love.
Love. Beautiful.
How about sex?
Call me.
Wow. Religion.
The universe.
Politics.
Not for me.
Friendship.
Precious.
Fear.
Run into it.
Desire.
I'm your Venus. I can't. It's that song just popped in my head.
Okay.
But yeah, Venus.
Regret.
I don't have any.
Success.
I'm here today.
Wish.
For the boy with the blue eyes to get better.
Happiness.
Was the first time I held my dog.
Oh, one word for Florida.
Home.
One word for Chicago.
Steamworks.
One word for USA.
America.
One word for writer.
A gift.
If you can define all your poems in one word, what that would be?
Survival.
Amazing. Okay, let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend. Define Dim in one positive word and one negative word only. What your best friend would say?
Positive word. Loyal. Negative word. I don't know. I have to. I don't know what they would say. Probably bitchy at times. Over opinionated. Set in my ways.
Amazing. Let's play now, Dim, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, you can ask me a question now, Dim.
Are you in a relationship?
Wow, good question. Yes, I am. And my relationship, it's called the magic box.
So a relationship with yourself.
Yes, I'm not in a relationship right now. I've been single for a few years, and right now I'm like you. Call me, test me. I'm here. I'm available. Let's connect. So let's see what the universe brings. So yeah, right now I am single. Yes.
But don't just show up at my house. You better call first. That's what I always tell people.
Yes, I think a good call before would help for sure. Did you enjoy the interview?
I did very much so, and I appreciate it. Like I didn't realize that I had the message, because messages will go on Facebook in like a spam folder, and the other day I saw it, but I saw thousands of messages that were in there. I was like, what is all this stuff? And I thought they were all bots and all, like sex like stuff or whatever. And it was a bunch of people saying thank you, or thank you for talking about this. And for a while I didn't think anybody was listening to me, because sometimes you never know who listens. And I was having such a rough day, and I opened that and I saw your email, and then I saw like all these other people, and I just kind of like smiled and looked at the universe and was like, thank you. Because the greatest gift that I've ever gotten was being able to share my story and having it help somebody, because I don't think anything else would have brought peace back to my life. And I'm okay with everything, because if it helps just one person, I do it all over again.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Dima. I'm so grateful that we connect during this time of your life, because I can see, you are literally lifting yourself up, you are healing, you are in a good place. And I think it's amazing to share your story, and also people connect with you. Again, you never know who is facing the same situation or maybe faced in the past. And talking about is always a good help. So thanks so much. And before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Definitely. People always say growing up that when you get older, you're going to find your better half, your partner, the person that completes you. And I think that that's toxic, because you don't need anybody else to complete you. You don't need a better half. You already you are complete and you're whole. Learn to love yourself. Get in touch with your inner child. Forgive yourself, because life can be beautiful after tragedy, after trauma. And being single isn't being alone. Everybody always says you need to be in a relationship. I'm in the best relationship I've ever been with in my life, and there's a power in breaking your codependency and living and loving your peace. So, don't be afraid of it. You don't need anybody else. You're already all right the way you are.
Amazing. Very good.
Well,
Thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much. I really appreciate it. And it's anytime I get a chance to talk about narcissistic abuse, I'm so grateful for it, because it's not just a buzzword, it's something that really affects people. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to help share my story and shed light on narcissistic abuse.
The pleasure is so mine. Thanks so much for being so open, and you keep in touch, okay? It was a pleasure. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.